You tell me. You tell me if he should win. Go ahead. I'll wait. What's up, guys? I'm here, and here we are to do a quick discussion on whether there's actually a chance. And I mean a chance. Not if it's going to happen, not if it's destined to happen. No, if there's a chance in any universe where Kashimo actually beats Sukuna. We need to talk about it because I mean, it's not it's a topic of conversation, but it's going to be a quick video for a reason. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. What's up, guys? Elephants here. And here we are. The show that I do, in fact, have it on me. And I keep it on me at all times. And unfortunately, Kashimo, he did have it on him. And it looked like he was going to keep it on him at all times. But then he threw it away. He threw away his staff. Like, literally, after 2 hits did nothing, he was like, fine, I'm not going to use this anymore. And he threw away his staff. Which hurts me on a personal level because I really like staffs. But normally, that's very likely my God of High School bias coming in. So, I'll push that to the side. But Kashimo Hajime, the strongest sorcerer of his period. I forget what exact period it is. Is it the Edo period? Where is Kashimo actually from? Hold on, let me double check this. Kashimo Hajime. I forget which era he's directly from, but he is very specifically pre-modern era and post-Heian era. He's somewhere in between, from 400 years ago. I do not have a specific period that he is from, but he is from that kind of period. And with that being the case, he's obviously, he's pretty himothy. He's obviously one of the most powerful characters in the series. I don't think there's really any argument one can make to push him out of, like, the top 10. He has feats and abilities that may even put him in the top 5. Like, the lightning bolt is crazy, especially if you think the lightning bolt was actually going to do some decent damage to Sukuna before Sukuna incarnated. Like, that was just a basic bolt. That didn't seem to have anything extra fancy behind it. So Kashimo has something that may have top 5 attack potency in the entire verse. He went relative to Jackpot Akari, who was on a roll, and that Jackpot Akari, who's on a roll, was said to be stronger than Yudo Kotsu, a special great fighter. Kashimo was going hand to hand, bar for bar with this stronger than Yudo Kotsu level fighter, with no curse technique, in base, just punching him up, dealing with him solely with his curse technique, and he did everyone a favor by fodderizing Panda and getting rid of his siblings, because obviously Panda being more involved in the narrative and actually having a relevant power would simply make the story even worse. Though I will admit, Kashimo did fumble the bag, and he's destined to lose solely because he didn't complete the job. If he completed the job on Panda, then we wouldn't be in this darkest timeline. Gojo would still be alive if Kashimo had actually finished Panda. But with that being the case, even with all that glaze, all the extra amazing things that Kashimo has, especially with the reveal of his curse technique, Mythic Beast Amber, it's a crazy new next level technique that'll undeniably shake the foundations of the verse and pretty much 100% put him at top 3 for now. The real question is, can and will he defeat Sukuna? Now, being 100% honest with you, I'm going to one-to-one be real with you. I think that there is so little a chance that Kashimo actually beats Sukuna that I am this close to actually, pulling her Hikari with some of my friends and putting some stacks down on it. I ain't got stacks. I like pennies. But with that being the case, there is the slightest, and I mean the slightest bit of chance that he could. Now, you may be wondering, pencil why. Kashimo is a side character of side characters who was introduced when? Chapter 158. We have the most recent chapter being 237. He literally hasn't even existed for half the major series. And if you were to total up all of his total screen time within the series, it'd probably be about like a solid 10 chapters. And most of that comes from the Hikari fight. The rest is like sparse glimpses of him here and there and minor commentary. So what do you mean that this man could even have a chance of beating Sukuna? Number 1, I think Kashimo beating Sukuna would be okay now for the fact that Sukuna could be fatigued. If he could be fatigued and Kashimo is just like that, and he's fully fresh, whipping out his Binding Vow amped curse technique that only can use once in his life, then I think enough I feel bad calling it excuses, but literally enough excuses have been stacked up for 20 Finger Sukuna to lose to him. They just have been. And especially if we go with an Omega nerfed 20 Finger Sukuna. Obviously, Hamutoke is worthless against Kashimo. He is literally electricity, so that doesn't matter. So that's Sukuna's main weapon out of the way. I mean, he can still, like, poke people with it, but, like, obviously, Kashimo can probably live a poke. Number 2, I mean, he does have Cleave and Dismantle. And he still should have Spatial Slash. Or Cleave Plus, if you will. So that should be an issue. But Kashimo, once again, is pure electricity. He's not really human anymore. So, hypothetically, if Sukuna goes to bisect him, it would just phase through. It would do damage. He may... But then he should be fine afterwards. So, Cleave and Dismantle, Sukuna's main technique, should reasonably not do too much if we're going to go with the idea. Let me double check the official translations of 237 to make sure I'm not losing my good mind, but at least in the pseudo translations or the scans that I read for the review, it appears that he is like his cursed energy trait, and that cursed energy trait is in fact lightning. So let me double check. I'm going to run to 237 real quick and take a look in a book, Reading Rainbow. Mythical Beast Amber. Mythical Beast Amber reconstructs flesh in order to manifest phenomena that Kashimo converts from cursed energy. Improved agility due to increased activity of electric signals in the brain, sound waves that optimize and attune the natural frequencies of substances, electromagnetic waves that vaporize irradiated objects. Kashimo's body manifests these phenomena and has bypassed the human realm. But after the completion of his curse technique, Kashimo's flesh collapses. Once again, I'm going to assume that bro is just electricity for the sake of his well-being. And thusly, I'm going to assume that Cleave and Dismantle don't actually do too much, and that's why Sukuna is refraining from using them. But another thing on top of that, Sukuna is refraining from using his techniques. He just isn't, at least so far. And the first little bit of the fight that we got in 237, Sukuna is holding back, because he considers Kashimo just like a greedy individual. He's like, whatever. That's fine. So he is treating Kashimo essentially like a kid, which is fine. Kashimo is a kid to him. Sukuna's over 1,000 years old, and while Kashimo's 400, think of you being a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old tries to talk smack to you. Yeah, obviously, a child is a child. So Sukuna's holding back. And that means Kashimo does have openings, considering Kashimo doesn't seem to be the kind of person that's going to, like, push Sukuna to go all out. He doesn't seem like a Yorozu type where he'll literally beg Sukuna to slash at him, to cut at him. With Sukuna holding back, there is the possibility that, Kashimo, he could maybe whip it out, smack it on the table, wiggle it around a little bit, and get it done. Another thing, we do have the fact that even if this Sukuna is destroyed, the 19-finger plus the body, which basically means 20 finger, in Megami's body, even if this 4-armed curse form is annihilated, there's still that last finger. There is still that last finger. Like, don't get me wrong, it's entirely possible that that last finger becomes a negative plot point. We just don't worry about it. We end the series in a mystical, magical, happy way, and that last finger never gets brought up. I think I know that Gege's not that kind. And lastly, we're going to have to address that missing Sukuna finger. And remember, Sukuna can incarnate through any of the fingers, as long as it gets consumed. It does not need to be anything fancy. And we know the fingers just grow stronger. Like, the current 4-armed Sukuna that we see at the end of 237 is massively stronger than the one from 1,000 years ago. We see this with the finger bearers, which are exponentially stronger from each other despite all bearing one finger. Simply 2 months passed between the first finger bearer that Megami and Itadori encountered to the next one for the gap to just increase massively. So the fingers get exponentially stronger too. So if that last finger doesn't go addressed, but considering that last finger is a thing, Sukuna doesn't actually have to permanently perish to Kashimo. Kashimo could actually beat Sukuna, simply because, well, he beats Sukuna, but he doesn't actually beat Sukuna. You know what I'm saying? He beats him, but he doesn't get rid of him. I think that's the balance that could be achieved here. Another reason, still that finger, meaning that Sukuna could be saved for a more relevant character than Kashimo, like the main character, Yuji Itadori. And another thing, almost everyone else kind of has a matchup already. But Kashimo doesn't, other than his hypothetical against Sukuna. Yuta still needs to fight Kenjaku. Maki will likely assist Yuta in fighting Kenjaku. Itadori still has unresolved beef with Kenjaku. Kenjaku's still the main villain. So, like, it'd be like that when it'd be like that sometimes. And with Yuta having a specific 5-minute time limit that may be able to be refreshed through RCT, we'll see how that works out. Maki being very good against, general curses and stuff like that, and Sukuna massively outscaling her, and Hikari specifically fighting Urume right now, Sukuna's servant. The rest of the cast is fodder, and Kashimo could save us all. So there is that chance that Kashimo gets his dub. And another reason I think it would be kind of sad but ironic in a funny way for Kashimo to beat Sukuna is that he'd be unsatisfied. Like, he would fall, he would have a great fight, but then as his body starts to revert back to flesh and he breaks down, he's like, I didn't get a fresh fight against the strongest, what the heck? And then he just drops. Like, it could be some dramatic irony that Kashimo, who went to Sukuna looking for answers, didn't actually get any. Like, it just ended up being, yep, the strongest is just a burden. And the journey that Kashimo was looking for, a journey that he was hoping he could get an answer to from Sukuna, the guy who was known as the strongest and lived and breathed and seemed to be the strongest, if he actually lost and Kashimo was left unsatisfied even in his second life, I think it would be a lot of dramatic irony for him as he falls to the end with nothing else gained. So, in that sick, twisted way, it could actually fit Kashimo's character. And considering Sukuna and Gege really like making other characters suffer, I wouldn't be shocked if Kashimo does get the dub, specifically so his character feels unsatisfied. Specifically so that he feels underwhelmed. Specifically so that he wasted something like this on someone like Sukuna. But of course, that's just me, generally spitballing and ignoring things that are said in the chapter, because in the official translation, at least, it doesn't actually say that Kashimo is, electricity. He's just flesh beyond. He's flesh plus. You got the basic flesh expansion pack, but you got to get. How many people would buy that? Flesh plus? I don't know. But with that being the case, he's just slightly higher. Sukuna hits him with one cleave, he's done. Hits him with one dismantle, he's done. Heck, I didn't even mention the fire arrow. Sure, he's immune to Kamutoge, the electrical part of the weapon. It's still a knife. He can still just get in the face. This is still Sukuna. Now in his original body. All the beef is back. He went from a 15-year-old, maybe a 16-year-old, I forget where Megumi's birthday is, to an 1,000-plus-year-old four-armed curse thing with gains and trunk, and thighs bigger than tree trunks. Bro's got to be insanely fast now. And remember, Maguna was already pretty, not decently reacting while missing a hand and all that, but he was somewhat keeping up with Kashimo. Kashimo did have the edge clearly in 237, but Sukuna was able to dodge a few hits. A thing or two here or there. He was able to block and react somewhat. Now he's in an actual proper combat vessel. Fully restored. Kashimo stands no chance. But here's the thing, right? Even with me genuinely believing that, even believing that Kashimo really is just a lost cause at this point, he's not really going to do anything, I think ultimately it fits into his character journey. In the same way that Gojo's character was destined, now I can see it, unfortunately, was cut down by Sukuna, Kashimo's going to get cut down by Sukuna. These beings that wondered about being the strongest and the burden that it came with ran into something that was actually overwhelmingly strong. And ultimately, that will give them satisfaction that no other person could. Kashimo couldn't find satisfaction in Hikari. Gojo couldn't find satisfaction in the world. So what less than the king of curses to come in and show them the satisfaction that they could never achieve on their own? I think it works out. I think it's nice. And even as low as that chance is, don't knock Kashimo off the roster. Maybe he can win. But in the end, he's most likely destined to lose. However, that's what I think. Please what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support for as low as $1 a month, get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, and Perp Skills. I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Red Wolf 4765, Midnight Gem Lord, Kevin, and Demix LND. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Ochia and iDemoComic. I'd like to give a hefty thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 patrons, Igneal and Calvin Elder.